Once again, giving all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Gwadash. And double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught us this truth, and the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Brakatham, to the brethren out there. Salutes to all of you Akim out there, as we believe that we are of the hopeful elect. And it's your brother Laban. And I want to do a video in regards to the stuff that this woman is going to be going into on how Jake has been poisoned. And without further ado, let's get right into it.
Years ago, but this story is back in the news, and we really got to talk about it, how the U.S. military poisoned a black neighborhood. And a lot of people don't know about this. This is not the only one. It's not the first time that this has happened. It's happened before, and I'm going to show you other examples. But this particular experiment was a part of the Cold War experiments. And it's not something you're going to learn about in school. It's like they'll teach you about the Cold War. They may teach you about the Tuskegee experiment, but they don't go as far to tell you about all these other experiments that happened here in the United States. So let's go ahead and get into this. This is a big story. It's making the rounds, ladies and gents, and you're going to hear from the residents there. Did the government poison a city? Check this out.
Now to a News Nation exclusive investigation into a secret government experiment that was carried out in St. Louis. Residents tell us they still remember a mysterious fog. Children would run through it. Mothers would try and close their windows against it. For decades, they all had questions, and now we're seeking answers. The United States Army now admits that it sprayed a chemical that contained cadmium, a known carcinogen, on a neighborhood of more than 10,000 people. Critics say this was done with no warning and no consent. Well, tonight we return to the site of that demolished neighborhood and speak with former residents who believe the government turned them into human test subjects. Although the Army admits that the test happened, it is not admitted to harming the residents. News Nation's Natasha Zuvez investigates what was in the fog and why the truth may still be buried.
Now, of course, the Army is not, they're not willing to admit that anyone was harmed, right? Of course, they don't want to admit that.
The fog drifted through the streets like a ghost.
That's exactly what it looked like, a thick fog.
It was summertime, it was hot. We would just run through it as fast as we could and try to just cool ourselves off. It stuck to you.
The spray was so foul as far as the odor. It made some of us have headaches, nausea, dizziness.
That's what I remember. It made me sick.
It wasn't the weather. It was an eerie smoke descending from rooftops, rolling from the backs of trucks.
Regular flatbed truck, but it had a big machine on the back. And it had a big nozzle that really sprayed a fog you couldn't even see through. It was that thick. And it really, we felt it as it would adhere to our skin. And as far as the guys on top of the buildings, they tried to portray them to us as maintenance workers. But we was like, what is a maintenance worker doing? And basically a hazmat suit. And they had masks and goggles.
In the 1950s and 60s.
And I mean, they've been doing this for years with Jake. Like she just mentioned, there's been plenty of experiments that have been had on our people. And she mentioned, yes, the Tuskegee experiment, but there's been many more. Right? And you also have to include even the water. And that's why you have these Jakes, they just bug out and they act crazy, especially these young Jakes, because they're full of, their water supply is full of lead. All right. And then you also got the food that Jake has to go and get in the neighborhoods. That's compromised itself. You know, the government cheese that Jake has to get, that's not even fucking cheese at all. You know, and this has been so many various different things that has been done to Jake. And this is why a lot of our people, when you really check it, man, our people are not so sound in the mind because of all of these things that have happened to our people. All right. And they do all of this because it's in the power of their hand. But as this is written, woe to them that devise iniquity. This is Micah 2:1. And work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Like the scripture says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and so we've been given onto their hands. So, you know, if you've been given onto someone's hands, or something has been given into their hands, they can do whatever they will with that. And that's what's been had with our people, the poor. And plus, you got our people that are poor too. So, you know, when you're a superpower and you have you know, a great deal of finances, you can do what you will to poor people. And that's what the so-called white man has been able to do. He's been able to use us as guinea pigs for whatever you know, disease that he's going to use later on in other countries, and many more different various different things. And I mean, America overall has been nothing more than an experiment corporation anyway. You know, and I call it a corporation because we don't live in a time where we can call these various different places around the world countries, but rather just that, corporations. Because we're all slaves, and you have you have your president, which is just like your CEO of a company. That's the reality, the fact of the matter, you know. But yeah, Jake has been experimented on for years. Even the whole project building, or you could call, as we call it down here in the UK, the ends, or, you know, the council estate buildings, that's also been an experiment. All right, there's been plenty of experiments played on our people. And I might have to do a sit down on the experiments that was had on our people throughout the years, man. Speaking of this video anyway. So yeah, it's because it's in the power of their hands. But guess what? The Lord is gonna pay them back for what they've done to our people. All right? And they covered fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. And so they oppress a man and his house, and even a man and his heritage. Yeah. Yeah, because what they did was is they took from state to state the land which belonged of unto God, which is what is coined as America today. And then guess what? They put them people in reservations, in the corners, and give them poorly, you know, how can I put this? They give them poor food that's already been expired already. You know? But again, I mean, what else can we expect from the so-called white man? He has to be the devil. He can't help but be the devil. All right? Micah 2 and verse 3, therefore thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil. Right. So the Lord is devising an evil against them. As it is written, that it is a righteous thing to recompense unto those of those that have troubled you. So a big payback is coming for these devils. And that big payback is going to come as a way of a nuclear annihilation. And that's what's being prepared on the planet Earth right here, right now. And the crash of the economy, just to add as well, for all of this. All right? Because our people were done wrongfully. Ever since we got on the shores, in North America to be exact, we've been done wrongfully. All right? So because we've been in his hands, this devil's been able to express his hatred against our people. Now, could Esau have taken us all out? Yeah, he could have taken us all out. But you know why he didn't do that? Because you need your slaves, man. You need to feed your slaves and to take care of them. But the ultimate reason why they've been doing all of this stuff, poisoning our people, because they know our people possess so much power. So to subdue our people spiritually, you gotta poison their food. Various other poisons out there, not just in the food, but poisons like these, like smoke, which is made out of cadmium. Put lead in the water supplies. And also at the same time, use the mainstream media, which is what our people are so consumed by, especially the younger people today. And in that mainstream media, let's reinvoke this idea of being black under the guise of black culture And so therefore they kill themselves. They'll even prostitute their own daughters. So all of this stuff will subdue these people spiritually and physically. And that's how we will maintain the potential of the so-called black people in America, and as well as the so-called Hispanics as well. All right. We don't want to kill them, but we want to keep them subdued, because what we need for them to do is to be on a lower level so that they can just be a bunch of workers. And that's about it. That's going to keep them poor now. All right. And that's what Jake was brought to America for, to be a bunch of slaves and to be experimented on. All right. But again, there's going to be a payback for that. Psalms 25 and verse 19, consider mine enemies, for they are many, and they that hate me with a cruel hatred. And that's all that's been had. A cruel hatred is only but being shown to our people. And that's not going to change. Things are going to get even worse, and cruelty will be shown once again. That's why, once again, I have to say it. DJ Trump is setting them National Guards from state to state. Because once upon a time, when the time is right, let me say that one better, they're going to react and result to violence against our people. And it's just going to be all kind of casualties that are going to be had in that regard. You know, and the first crop of our people that they're going to go and take out is these gangs. I mentioned that. So let's move forward. Jeremiah 30 and verse 16. And this is going to be the payback right here. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all that thine adversaries, and every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Let's look up this word, spoil. So the Hebrew word is bazaz, which that's what it means. So when you spoil something, when something's been spoiled as a possession, you get to do whatever you want to do with that spoil. Case in point, in the ancient world, you would have concubines, which concubines would be spoil or booty. You know, that's why when you would see a girl with a big ass, right, you would say she got a big booty, because back in the ancient world, a woman was just that, booty, spoiled. So we've become that, and this is why they're able to get away with a lot of shit. But guess what? The Lord is calculating every single thing wrong that they have done to our people. And so the Lord is going to exact judgment upon them. All right? And then guess what? We're going to spoil them. That's what's going to happen. We're going to spoil them, and we're going to do experiments on them. But of course, we're going to stay within the laws. All right? We ain't going to go outside the law. We're going to stay within the law, but we're going to be able to do just as well as what they did to us, and if not worse. Okay? Within the ramifications of the law. So that's as far as that's going to go, man. See, we're in the time of revelation. Everything is being revealed. Everything is coming out and showing what it is. As well as this woman is saying right here, Sabrina Savelli, or something along those lines. It's like an Italian last name she got. All right. And what I'm going to do as well, Lord willing, man, I'm going to look into the experiments that's been had among our people too. All right. So I might do a part 2 to this one. Yes. So with that, I'm going to close, and I'm going to give all of the praise and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops on down. And I'm out. Shalom.